A single ant colony can look like the most peaceful thing in nature. Rows of workers moving grain, nurses tending eggs, everyone doing their job. Now imagine an army marching out of that colony with one purpose: to storm the nest next door, kill anyone who resists, and steal the children. That is not a metaphor. That is a Tuesday afternoon for the Amazon ant. We like to think humans invented organized war and forced labor. We didn't. Ants were doing both millions of years before the first human picked up a spear. And the Amazon ant, genus Polyergus, takes it further than almost anything else in the insect world. It cannot dig its own nest. It cannot feed its own larvae. It cannot even feed itself. Without slaves, an Amazon ant colony starves within weeks. That sounds like an extreme design flaw, but it's not a flaw, it's the whole strategy. To understand why, you have to look at what an Amazon ant actually is. Its jaws are not built for the usual ant jobs, like carrying leaves or cutting food. They're curved, sharp, and almost shaped like tiny sickles, good for exactly one thing: piercing through the head of another ant. An animal built entirely for combat eventually stops being built for anything else. Over time, that specialization seems to have gone so far that Amazon ants lost the tools for ordinary survival altogether. They kept the weapons, they gave up everything else. No digging claws worth using, no instinct for gathering food, no patience for raising their own young. So the colony has warriors, but no workforce. That's the problem evolution left them with, and the solution is where things get disturbing. Scout ants leave the nest and search the surrounding ground for colonies of a different species, usually in the genus Formica. When a scout finds a target, it doesn't attack alone, it returns home and somehow recruits the rest of the colony to march. What follows looks less like a hunt and more like an invasion. Long columns of red-black ants move in formation across open ground toward the target nest, sometimes hundreds strong. When they reach it, they don't attack the adults directly, at least not as the main goal. They release a chemical spray that throws the defenders into panic, then push straight past the fighting adults toward the nursery chambers underground. What they want isn't food, it's pupae, immature ants, still sealed inside their cocoons, too undeveloped to fight back or run. The raiders grab as many as they can carry and haul them back to their own nest. And here is the part that should stop you. Those stolen ants don't die there, they hatch there. An ant, like most social insects, appears to learn who belongs here, partly through chemical cues absorbed in its earliest hours, not through anything resembling memory or choice. A pupa raised inside enemy territory apparently never learns it started life somewhere else. As far as researchers can tell, it emerges, picks up the scent of its new nest, and simply gets to work, foraging, feeding larvae, defending a colony that was built by killing its own relatives. It isn't obedience, it isn't loyalty, it may just be a recognition system with no way to check where the scent it was raised in actually came from. The result is a colony that runs almost entirely on captured labor. In many Amazon ant nests, the stolen workers can outnumber the Amazon ants themselves several times over. The conquerors are a minority, sustained entirely by a workforce that has no idea it's being exploited. It gets stranger still at the very top. A new Amazon queen doesn't build her own nest. She finds an existing Formica colony, fights her way in, and kills the queen already living there. Then, coated in her victim's scent, she waits for the workers to accept her as their new ruler. In effect, she doesn't found an empire, she steals one, wearing the old regime's identity like a disguise. So the picture we started with, ants quietly moving grain, turns out to be only half true. Somewhere nearby, another nest may be built entirely from stolen labor, run by a species that forgot how to survive on its own the moment it perfected the art of taking what it needed from someone else. Humans spent thousands of years treating slavery and conquest as marks of civilization, something we invented, something we eventually had to unlearn. Ants got there first and never needed a reason. No ideology, no economy, no decision at all. Just chemistry, instinct, and a jaw shaped for one purpose. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If a creature this simple can build an empire on stolen lives without ever knowing it's doing anything wrong, how much of what looks like order in any colony, human or otherwise, is really consent, and how much is just no one having a way to tell the difference?